At the network of ley hunters Moot in Oxford in May 2016, several leys were found, discovered by a number of different people with differing approaches to the subject. This seems to be evidence that the ley system is one discrete phenomenon involving subtle energy streams in the landscape, straight or sinuous, and our conscious or unconscious interaction with them. One discovery was of a ley centre, a meeting point of several leys, in Lake Street, near the South Oxford Community Centre, where the programme of talks at the Moot was held. The Lake Street Ley Centre. The centre is at the junction of Lake Street and Summerfield. At present it seems to be completely unmarked. That gives the dowsing reaction of spinning rods. One of these was found by Alfred Watkins, the discoverer of the ley system in the 1920s. It comes southwards through Oxford. These two leys were found by Alfred Watkins and were quoted in the Old Straight Track. At Oxford, the churches of St Giles, St Mary Magdalene, St Martin's Carfax, partially demolished, and St Aldate, are lined through the north gate in the city walls and over the Thames, Oxna Forda, thus on a kind of coin of Alfred, alongside the present Folly Bridge. Crossing this ley is another through St Peter's in the Castle, demolished, St Martin's Carfax, All Saints, and St Mary the Virgin. These leys cross in St Martin's Carfax on the highest part of the gravel bank, which was the traditional assembly point for the Common Council, Justice and Market. They are the basis of the present main streets, which are altered so as not to go through the church sites as the cited leys do. And the western ley goes through the site of Osney Abbey, a fact not at first noted. The Watkins ley goes through the Norman church of St Giles, Labyrinth at St Giles, then St Mary Magdalene, then St Michael's North Gate, then St Martin's Carfax, on the main crossroads of the city. Then St Aldate's. It then goes over Folly Bridge. The Lake Street Ley Centre. This modern church seems to have been built on the ley, possibly subconsciously sited. It then goes through this campsite. Another ley was found by Laurence Main of the network of ley hunters, and seems to pass through sites associated with Sir Winston Churchill. This goes through a crossroads in Enstone, then through Blenheim Palace, where Sir Winston Churchill was born, after passing through Ditchley Gate and long stretches of coincident track in the grounds, and the Column of Victory and the Grand Bridge. It then goes through St Martin's Bladen, where Churchill was buried, and skirts the western edge of Round Castle on Bladen Heath. Then it passes through St Thomas's Church near Oxford Station, the Lake Street Centre, and the site of a wood henge on the Big Rings cursus near Dorchester-on-Thames. The ley passes centrally through Blenheim Palace, at right angles to it, and along the path that can be seen behind it. It then goes through Bladen Church, where Sir Winston Churchill was buried. The old St Martin's Church at Bladen, on the same site, was probably built in the 11th or 12th century, but demolished in 1802. After skirting the edge of Round Castle, a small hill fort near Bladen, the Lake Street Ley Centre. It comes to the 12th century church of St Thomas the Martyr, Oxford. It then continues to pass through the wood henge that was on the Neolithic cursus adjacent to the Big Rings henge at Dorchester-on-Thames. These monuments are no longer there, as much of the area has been destroyed by gravel extraction. The big rings were found as crop marks in aerial pictures in 1927. They seem to have a similar relationship to their cursus as Stonehenge with its cursus, or the hypothetical Negan stones at Staines with the Heathrow Airport cursus. Another ley comes to the centre from the King's Men stone circle at Rollright. Along the ley to the Lake Street centre from the Rollright Stones, in the other direction. The line continues through a trig point marked hilltop near Lidstone and a crossroads tracks near Stonesfield to reach the remains of 12th century Godstow Nunnery. The Lake Street ley centre. Finally it reaches St Mary's Church, Iffley, a Norman church with a south door ornately carved with figures including green men and mythical beasts. It has a dragon ceiling boss in the chancel. A fourth ley to the centre comes from the Norman Church of St Nicholas at Forest Hill near Oxford. It then passes through St Mary and St John's Church, a 19th century church at Cowley Road. The Lake Street ley centre. The ley then runs through the South Oxford Community Centre at the end of Lake Street. And then through this clump of trees. It then crosses the lake beyond the trees. Then the 13th century Church of St Mary at Longworth. R.D. Blackmore, author of Lorna Doone, was the son of a rector here. The next point on the ley is the 13th century church of Hinton Waldrist in the Vale of the White Horse. The dedication is to St Margaret the Virgin, also known as Margaret of Antioch, who has a dragon-killing legend associated with her. The ley then continues to pass through the mount nearby, which is the motte of Hinton Waldrist Castle. Only earthworks of this remain, but there was also a fort here in Roman times. Caroline Hoare and Gary Biltcliffe gave us a guided tour of Oxfordshire sites over the Moot weekend. They are the discoverers of the Spine of Albion ley, running from the Isle of Wight to Scotland, and its associated serpentine energy currents, Belinus and Ellen. The St Michael line, discovered by John Michel, also goes through this area, and the two lines cross near Seven Barrows. The curving paths of Belinus and Ellen, going to Uffington Castle, can be seen here. The female currents of the two lines, Ellen and Mary, meet at the 13th century church at Uffington, which is dedicated to St Mary. The church is unusual in having two fonts. One current goes through one, and the other goes through the other. The male currents, Belinus and Michael, meet at the church of St Michael and All Angels, Lambourne, which may date to the 9th century. The original churchyard was circular, and there are a number of large sarsen stones in the boundary wall and the church's foundations. There is a stained glass window of Michael slaying the dragon. Waylands Smithy is very rare among long barrows to be aligned north-south rather than east-west. The entrance faces south, and the stars of Cygnus would set between the stones. It's similar to the West Kennet barrow. It had a capstone and a higher mound. The central chamber also seems to mirror the shape of Cygnus. Wayland was the divine smith of Norse mythology, and according to legend, was sure horse left here with some money. He is also said to have been commissioned by Merlin to make Excalibur for King Arthur. The female Ellen current flows along the length of the barrow before travelling on to Uffington Castle, the White Horse and Dragon Hill. In the east field nearby there have been crop circles, and there have been many strange experiences like balls of light and time slips in the vicinity. The narrow entranceway, explained by Bart O'Farrell.
For a start, how many of you ladies have gone through here? All right, okay, you're not supposed to go. Did you know that? No. Hey, come on, I'm not Bob Dylan. Men have got narrow hips and broad shoulders. Okay? That's men. Walk through there, no problems at all in terms of a processional way. Now, ladies are very interesting, because as you get older, your shape is like that. Narrow shoulders, broad hips. Try and get through there with your broad hips, straight walking. You can get through there sideways. One down. Another chakra point there. You notice I'm not using the rod to turn in. I found one here. I'm leaving it there. I'm coming down. I'm not even looking at the stone. That's the second one. That's the third one. See how it does it for you? That's the fourth. The fifth is right up the top, which is a bit higher than me. Being an Irishman of Welsh, being a Welshman of Irish stock, living in Cornwall, I am not tall enough to be there because we're all miners and farmers. This is why I walk bandy-legged, by the way.
Stand up top there. Stand at the top.
Right at the very top, and you should actually get that going right up, still alive. Okay? Hang on. I see you on television. You call interference.
Doppelganger.
If, when you go into a field and you have a kite, or you have a dolman, or you have a standing stone, how do you know that this is a happy, active stone? Very simple. Edge of the field. Rub your hands together like you're going to give healing, those of you that are healers, and you stand here. All right? You can all do this. This is not yoga. You just do this, and as you bring your hands down, can you see what's happening to me now? The stone is pulsing, and I'm reacting to that pulse. Can you see that? You can do this too. And you bring your hands down as you bring. We are magnetometers. We can do it ourselves. All right? But when you get up there, and you can all do this, do what I'm going to do now. Now, notice what I'm doing. 2 feet together, 2 hands together. It's twisting me off. There's a spiral energy going completely up here, and by putting those 2 hands together, I'm picking up that spiral energy and it's throwing me off. This will do it for your ladies, this will do it for your men. It's there. This is really interesting. You notice what I did the first time? I did that. This is a very strong stone. Crossed my arms. And by doing that, I got the upward spiral energy. But it's a counteractive energy as well. By doing that, you can all try this, by the way. What I say is practical. You can put in use. 1, 2. Can't resist it.
Did you
It's
find
doing
that
hell
out?
with my urinate.
Did you find that out by experimentation?
Yes.
You did. Yeah.
I don't douse to find what is the known, and then having found it, go yippee, off to the pub now for our meal. We had a great day. We found the Mary line, we found the Michael line, the Apollo line, what have you. Start from what you know is at the site, and you will find it. go to the site and say, hey, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to show me? All right. See, it's doing that. So it wants me to go in there to have a look for something else. Now, I've been here before, and this is a much used site. You should be aware, when you go to somewhere like Trencrom in Cornwall, or you go to a much used site, that when you go to a much used site, you're not just picking up the site's energy, you're picking up other people's thought forms. Now this site is being used by the Hells Angels, it's used by Wicca, there's a whole variety of people. Do you please remove previous other people's thought forms? This is a very important thing to ask, because otherwise you're going to go in up there, and if last night the Hells Angels were here and they were doing, I don't know, hand fasting, an initiation, you're going to pick up that. And you're going to think this is Waylands Smithy. But no, it's the Hells Angels. So you need to ask, can you please remove previous thought forms? There's a very interesting energy, like this site, by the way, wants you to walk around clockwise. And if you go around clockwise on this side, you will find out the stones have all got an upward spiral energy. And it's energy. The other thing that's going in is that it is protected. So you go around and you come around here. Now, what is very interesting is that side has got a lot of downward spiral energies. Church towers, bells. You've got a church tower. Easiest way to describe it is to use two rods. There you are, church tower, you've got that. Okay? Just like standing stones. Go to the left-hand side, put your spine against the back of a church tower on the left-hand side. By the way, I'm talking about granite, and I'm talking about Cornwall. And you put your spine against the corner of that church tower, and you will find, not only does it make you smile, if somebody's taking your photograph, you'll be smiling. You don't even know you're smiling. Very nice sensation. If you suffer from a bad back, or you're getting migraines, I recommend church towers to you, especially the left-hand side.
The other side getting pulled down.
But go to the right-hand side, and we are talking about church bell towers now, and we are on the northern side facing west. You stand on the northern side and you can feel your knees buckling as if it's dragging you down, and the twist will be that way. In other words, it's a downward spiral. That's church spires. Stones can do the same thing. Okay? If you want healing and you go to a standing stone, migraine, bad back, whatever, you can actually get it from that stone. If you're well, you're not going to get anything. 10 minutes, however long it takes, it'll kick you off. And if you're well and you're fit, hey, there's mornings I wake up and I'm not only fit, I'm in convulsion. You put your back against that, it'll kick you off straight away. Get off, okay? Stones are very interesting. Now, is it the stones? No, it's not the stones. Our forefathers, oh, between then our great-great-great-great-grandfathers even had a twinkle in their eye, put intention into these stones. Because you can go to a gatepost and it's just a gatepost. This was put, intention in here and there was put in by a human being, one of us, who had what you call lost Stone Age science. Walk down the centre line, and as you walk along, about every 7 paces, you'll get that. You'll get a spiral energy. And it's an upward energy, it goes right on to the end. It's a very nice sensation. So I will say to you, enjoy the sight. Ask that previous thought forms please be removed so you just get in the energy of the sight. Enjoy the stones. This actually was built for you. It's not a tomb of the dead. It is not a tomb of the dead. The ancestors are here to help us enjoy today.
From here we went to Uffington Castle, where the Ellen and Belinus streams of the spine meet in the centre of the hill fort. It is also central to the ridgeway. There is no evidence of any battle here, but many pits with offerings suggesting rituals and festivals. From here we could see Farringdon Folly on the true north Oxfordshire spirit path, going from the Whitehorse to the Rollright Stones. We then continued to Whitehorse Hill, from which we could see the flat-topped Dragon Hill, where according to legend St George killed the dragon, and there is a bare patch of earth on top where grass does not grow, where the beast's blood spilt upon the ground. The hill, resembling a smaller Silbury, is natural, but thought to have been levelled to make a flat area for rituals. In the trees we could see there is a large spring which feeds the Thames. There is a legend of the horse drinking there and grazing from the manger. Gary thought it more likely to be a dragon, as it had horns, and also the horses that people had at the time were only small ponies. The Belinus current runs along the back of the horse to meet Ellen again at Dragon Hill. We then walked over to Dragon Hill where the two dragons meet. In 2000, a formation of a dragon or dragonfly appeared in a field below the horse after Gary had doused Belinus here. From here we went to the Rollright Stones, which are a complex of 3 sites. The King's Stone, which despite its name has a rather feminine shape, the King's Men Stone Circle, and the Whispering Knight's Chambered Tomb. The legend associated with the site concerns a king and his men who meet a witch who predicts that if he can see Long Compton village he will be king of all England. He goes to see, but his view is blocked by a ridge which rises up, and he and his men and a group of Whispering Knights are turned to stone. Belinus and Ellen meet again at the ridge just behind the King's Stone. Another legend says the ridge was the grave of an archdruid. There is also a ley found by Alfred Watkins, which goes through the circle and the King's Stone to Chipping Norton Church. Belinus also does the same by a more curving route. The Watkins ley was dowsed at 10 paces wide. The King's Stone at Rollright. Alfred Watkins ley going to Chipping Norton Church goes through this stone and the Rollright Circle, the King's Men. From the King's Men Stone Circle towards the King's Stone along the Alfred Watkins ley. The Whispering Knights, a burial chamber which is the oldest part of the Rollright complex. It's aligned north-south like Waylands Smithy.